are live. Hello. Welcome to CF 2.0 GeekOut. I'm Susan.
I'm Andrea.
I'm Dan.
Dan down there.
And we're live this time.
We are live this time. Sorry, we were talking like a good 3 minutes before Andrea's like, are we even live? Like, no, we're not. My bad. Okay, so we'll just say it all again. Welcome. Let us know that you're here. Say hello in the comments. And now it makes sense why we had 0 viewers before. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Okay, so today we're doing kind of a hodgepodge.
Wishy-wash.
Topics today.
Mashup. I think that's
Mashup. Thank you. It was second time. I still couldn't get a right phrase.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about a few different things because there's been some questions in the CF 2.0 Geek Out group and just some new things that we've noticed in the back end. So we're gonna do that today. And what else did I say the first time around, guys? Oh, we're streaming live into Dan's group too. And all three of us are kind of collaborating together. So if you're, I don't know, Dan, you want to extend your invite again?
Well, yeah, what I said, anybody who's in my group, make sure you also get over to the Geek Out group and get signed up over there. And if you're in the Geek Out group, and as Susan so eloquently said 5 minutes ago, if you are more interested in higher end coding, technical stuff, definitely come over to my group and ask some questions over there, or either group.
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
I know. I said it so well the first time.
I know you did.
It's not going to happen this time. Okay. Welcome, Madison. Welcome, Jerry, who are watching us, and so many of you others that are silent watchers. Okay. We're just going to jump into it because we've wasted enough time. So the new feature that is out right now, you may have seen a post about it. Let me share. Is email merge tags. Ta-da! We're going to go into edit this. That's where I was needing to be. If you don't know what email merge tags are, it is the ability to bring in someone's like information from their contact profile into the email.
Which, just for the record, just the fact that they're calling it mail merge tags is like, I love you, ClickFunnels, but step out of the 90s. Like, mail merge is like old school Microsoft mail merge. Like, it's a funny, I'm like, why? So if you are used to CRMs, this would be personalized tags, is more of the newer term that you would traditionally find in a CRM. So just to translate for those folks.
Yeah. But it is called merge tags in the back end. I don't know if I can I can't make it bigger. Okay. Yeah. So if you're wanting to say like first name, contact first name, then it's going to bring in the curly brackets little tag there. And now it'll automatically, dynamically fill in the contact's first name. And then here are the options that they've given us so far. I don't know if this is going to grow, but maybe. But we have first name, last name, email address, phone number, address.
And I think just, again, full transparency, I'm a power user of CRMs. I use ActiveCampaign. I so badly want ClickFunnels to be able to replace that. But just what I'm seeing so far, this is great for really low-level automations. And by low level, I just mean basic, right? Nothing advanced, nothing super targeted, nothing super specific, nothing like that, right? It's just a nice to have. Let's put a personal name on there. You know what I mean? If nothing else. And it's also good for the email. Is like I use email all the time as like, remember you purchased this with this email. Make sure when you're creating your account in your membership area, use this email because it reduces help tickets significantly if you just give them that. So those will probably be the two, and what I see there of like the most common use case of what they've given us.
Awesome.
Well, my question for you, Andrea, then would be, so in this case here, it's an email we are working in here. We have merge tags. Are you saying in the other CRMs that you're using, they have more in-depth merge tags for an email, or are you talking for inside of a funnel?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, what I have the ability to do is I can 100% create and customize personalized tags or personalized fields on a contact record. I have full ability to make that grow and be whatever I want it to be. And then it turns into a personalized tag that I can use then in my targeting and my segmenting and my content. So
Okay.
like
In 1.0, if you did a custom field, you could then pull that custom field in using one of these email merge tags.
Yeah.
Okay.
In
So
1.0, you're asking specifically, and Andrea, the answer to that is yes, because I know you can do that in active campaign.
no, you can do it in 1.0
yeah,
too.
you
Oh,
can
you
do it
can.
in
Okay.
1.0. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just, it's clunky. You know what I mean? And you have to actually know the code offhand. There's not a, I think now there is a drop down, but anyway, it's super clunky.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, that's a good indication that there's more to come. They've got basics in there right now for what we can do, but if they have the ability in 1.0,
Yeah.
then I would assume they're eventually going to grow this list.
Here's my $1 million question that I don't think any of us can answer, but if there's anybody in the Geek Out group that hardcore geeks out on email deliverability, I would love for you to share your expertise on this question. So the current trend and the current recommendation from the powers and gurus that be relative to improving your email deliverability is to reduce the amount of HTML and any kind of like graphics or anything in an email, because we know that email providers block it. It doesn't matter who it comes from or anything like that. We know that it significantly decreases email deliverability. So now, like if you see an email coming from something that I'll program at the most, I'll have a logo at the top and that's it. And I try to make it as skinny as possible to increase deliverability. So when I see what's coming out with ClickFunnels, they have like big fancy, lots of imagery. You know what I mean? Like I can only imagine the HTML that's behind this, right? And the only precedent right now in the industry that is bucking the grain of like the low image emails for deliverability is Flowdesk. Or no, Flowdesk, yeah, which does this, right? And so maybe they've cracked the code on this email deliverability, or they don't care because they're targeting an audience that's usually targeting people that has a warmer audience, right? But anyway, so this is my like $1 million question. It's not big enough yet. I'm not using it enough yet to speak to email deliverability, but if there's anybody in the group that understands email deliverability and the state of the union on that whole high design emails hitting deliverability, and 2, if there's anybody who has been operating at volume for emails and seeing deliverability, I would love to learn more about that. Anyway, I know that takes us way away from mail merge, aka personal tags, but just as a, since we're in the email.
Side note there. Yeah, because it's something we talked about once before when we were designing some emails and we realized like, oh, we have to like, if we don't want all these graphics, like that's all the templates they've given us or heavy graphic ones. And we have to go and create our own template.
Yeah.
Before we can even start doing email.
Exactly. And I can't see who this is. I just have to shy it. I don't know who this is. So you have to tell me your name. I'd be like, dude, I'm right there with you. Like it was that was one of my very first corporate gig projects, was a mass mail merge project from, using Google or using Microsoft products. So I'm there with you. Very good company.
All right. Okay. So moving on.
Mail merge, check.
We've got a few domain things to talk about, right? Are we ready for that, Dan?
Yeah, we'll give it a try here. So I will share my screen.
Can we start on a happy note, Dan?
You what?
I'm just like, it seems like the domain issue has significantly improved.
Yes.
Okay.
I set one up the other day, and the time to propagate, it was definitely less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
For the SSL to get set up. The DKIM, once I got to the point where the SSL was setting itself up, the DKIM, I just clicked on the one thing and boom, it turned on immediately.
Yeah.
So it's cleaning up. I'm going to shoot some videos on it once I get a chance, including some of the stuff we're going to go over today, just to make it a little clearer for people. But I'm just going to kind of give an overview today of a couple of things that people have been asking a lot of questions about.
Cool. Okay. To add on to what Dan just said, so I did one also not too long ago, and it was like, oh, it seemed like maybe it only took like an hour or two, which I was like so excited about because it was taking weeks before because it was breaking. But then I actually just did one on Tuesday with a client, and we were on a call together, and I was working him through it, and we had it done and ready, but by the time we were done on the call, like it was all connected, the SSL was connected. So I think and we were like waiting. We went and did like some email stuff, and then we came back and checked on it. But I think it took less than like 45 minutes. So even then it's improved. There's still some issues though. Let's keep it real. And Dan's going to be talking about a few things here in a second. I'm still having an issue with moving from a domain from ClickFunnels 1.0 over to 2.0, where the www is without the www. So without the subdomain on it, it's like redirecting to the ClickFunnels homepage. So I haven't actually gotten support to help me with that yet. And then something that Dan's going to be addressing here in a moment with funnels. And somebody in the group is asking about this, and I don't remember who it was. I'll go find it and tag you on this. But getting your domain to actually direct to a funnel currently right now is not functioning within ClickFunnels 2.0. And I did get confirmation from a ClickFunnels employee, Jimmy. He's on the team there at ClickFunnels. He confirmed to me that it's high priority for them to get a fix for that, or a way to do it. So if you put in your first domain that you put into your account, it's going to get connected to your site, aka your funnel hub. And if you go and put in another domain, thinking like, okay, I want this domain to connect to a funnel, and you set it up and you connect it to your funnel in the funnel settings, it still is going to direct people to your funnel hub. And so that's the problem right now. So hopefully Dan has something to show us.
Well, I was going to say, oh, you tell me that. Maybe I'm not going to show you anything.
Okay. Well, what we've been told is the solution to that at the moment is you got to set up a redirect on your domain. I have not been able to get that to work for myself, but again, I'm also having other issues with my domain of like the non-subdomain one not working. And I've noticed that if there's one issue, typically not everything will function correctly on your domain. So that might be why I can't get my redirect to work either. So I'm actually just going to check to see if maybe it's working now, but go ahead, Dan. I'm going to turn it over to you and you can share what you do have.
Okay. All right, let me see here. Let me just make sure. Can you see this page? It's a ClickFunnels page.
And I lost the stream. Okay. My window closed.
So I'm not sharing, am I?
No.
Okay, what happened here? It says stop screen share. Okay, so I stopped the screen share. All right, let me try this again. Present, share the screen, do that, click here, share.
There we go. Okay. Now we're good.
Okay. Okay, so this is, we were talking, I was just saying about the 1.0 merge tags. So here is what they had in 1.0, including, there's one here, should be for custom. Unsub action score. Well, there used to be one in here, I thought, for custom. So if you put in a custom field, you could pull up that custom information based upon whatever you called that custom field. And I'm not seeing it here now. Are you guys still there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see it on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's not a custom field one.
Yeah, there had been. I wonder if they took that out.
Oh, it's right there. It's at the bottom. It's not all caps.
Okay. All right, there you go. So yes, you put your custom field name in there, and then so that way you can anything that any kind of questionnaire you have, and you got inputs, you pull it in, and then you can spit that back out into an email. That's specifically what this is for, is email merge tags. Right
Dan, though, do you know, so we are having this issue right now where it does seem like the database architecturally has been created to allow us to create custom fields. But we have got, we know it's a known issue that if I pull in a custom field on a order form or on a opt-in page, right, those aren't actually showing up anywhere. It's almost like they forgot the UI to show those.
Well, specifically here, this is for emails.
No, I know, but the only reason why I'm able to get a custom field in right now, because I can't on a contact record, the only way I could do a custom field is to create an input field on a funnel page, right? And then now, supposedly, I'd imagine that custom field is now associated to the contact record when they opt in. But I have no visibility into the custom fields that I create on a contact record, which has been some of the feedback in our group.
Well, yeah, in 2.0, as of right now, as far as I know, you can't really see any of
right.
the
You can't.
information.
Right.
Yeah,
and even in 1.0, it's a cluster. Like it's not good. Like
it's all kind of down at the bottom.
Yeah.
That's why you have to either put it out to an email, or you can put it. Well, I'm not even sure. I'd have to think about it now. How you would output it back onto the screen itself.
Right.
I have to think about that. But as I said to you the other day, Andrea, I found a way. It's been around for a long time. I just didn't know about it, of how you can integrate Google spreadsheets with ClickFunnels and be able to have a spreadsheet and be able to go out to the spreadsheet and pull out whatever data you want off of it and then display that onto a ClickFunnels page.
Right. So what would be really interesting, actually, to run a little test. We can maybe do it at some point. So have an opt-in, create a custom field, name it whatever you're going to name it. Go to mail merge and see. No, it didn't give the option to custom field it anyway.
Yeah, there was only like 5
options. We don't know if shorthand works. Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
Yeah. I mean, once they get around to doing the all the other stuff, the custom rendering stuff and all, I mean, I think there's so much more coming where you're going to be able to use the double curly braces and handlebars, in some cases they call them, to be able to use that, to be able to create custom formats and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all stuff that is coming yet.
Mm-hmm.
But again, based upon using some JavaScript libraries, we can start doing some of that stuff now off of custom spreadsheets. So you can basically set up a Zapier webhook, zap the stuff to a spreadsheet, and then pull it back in using the JavaScript library.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So one example that I was trying to make work in ActiveCampaign, but I just, for some reason, I decided not to do it, was someone who runs like a live challenge every month. And there's maybe a new Zoom link for everybody to attend. For the next month, there's a different Zoom link. And rather than having to go through all of the reminder emails and updating that Zoom, or all the daily emails, like, here's the new Zoom link and all the emails, you could just have it in either a custom field box attached to the people that registered, or what Dan is saying, you could potentially just go to your Google Sheet, update it there, and then it's going to automatically pull it into all those emails. Am I understanding that correctly, Dan?
Well, yeah, and we were talking about it on the funnel builder call this morning. It's something Jamie Smith's been doing for years now, where so you got evergreen webinars, or they used to do like the OFA challenge like every 2 weeks. And so on the page, it had to populate, the next one is starting on this date.
Yeah.
Well, just set up a spreadsheet with all the dates in it, and then using some sort of JavaScript library, it goes out to that spreadsheet and it reads it. It says, okay, what's the next date? Next date is next Tuesday. It's this date. Boom, pull off that bit of information, and then on your ClickFunnels page, substitute the date field for whatever that other information was, and just so there's a lot of cool stuff you can do like that now, and I think there's going to be a lot more going forward with some of the stuff I've seen sort of on 2.0. But we'll run into that as we come along and as we move forward on this stuff. But I think, and I even made myself some notes here. It's just like, I got to spend a lot more time getting much better at the Zapier and webhooks and using different types of databases.
And maybe we can return the favor of all the tech that you gave to us over the years. We can return the favor.
That's a problem. I knew as soon as I said that, Andrea, like,
just my ego really trying to feel like I'm smarter than Dan Havey.
She's going to make me into a nerd like her. It won't happen. Data nerd.
You're going to eventually learn it all anyway if you keep showing up to all of our Geek Tech Stack trainings anyways. We'll cover Zapier at some point, even though we loathe it.
I know.
Okay.
All right, let me just jump into what we were talking about here, because unless you guys don't want me to, let me go in.
Go for it, Dan.
We'll go here. Is it going to work? Okay, this is what
Tell me
happens
when you're ready to share.
I am. I turned it on.
Okay.
There we go.
There you go.
Oh, you're going to turn it on in your end? I guess I didn't know that.
Yes, we have to add
Okay.
it to the
So
stream.
there were a couple questions in the group. First one was, well, let me look at the second one first, actually, because somebody had the question of, okay, you have a domain, and that domain, your root domain is currently pointing at WordPress. So if it's pointing at WordPress, or it's pointing at ClickFunnels, or it's pointing at Wix, or wherever it's pointing, the root domain is pointing there. So what you see on the screen here is how the DNS would be set up. So at this point here, I already have this domain. It's pointing at ClickFunnels. I went into, so I buy all my domains at GoDaddy. In GoDaddy, I pointed it at Cloudflare. And then in the DNS records, we then have the www pointing to the root domain, then the root domain pointing to ClickFunnels. Okay, that's normally how you would set it up. And again, this could be, instead of pointing at ClickFunnels, it could be pointing at WordPress. So this is the basics of how you would have it set up. Then we always put in a page rule as well that says, again, take the www, and the asterisk in front of it means that they type in HTTP, HTTPS. No matter what, if they put in www, again, we need to point it to just the root domain. So all these things together make sure that when somebody types in the root domain, whether it's got a www in front of it or not, it's going to end up going to, in our case here, ClickFunnels, but it could be a WordPress install. So the question is then, how do we set up a root domain of this subdomain? I'm sorry, how do we set up a subdomain of this root domain to then point to ClickFunnels? And it is super simple in that all you have to do is come in here and you click on add a record, and we're going to come down here to a CNAME, and let's just say we want our subdomain to be hub. So we're just going to say hub dot, in this case here, hub.cfninjaresources.com. We want that pointing to ClickFunnels 1.0. Okay. Now I'm not going to put anything in here yet because we have to come back over here to ClickFunnels first. And we have to say, okay, let's connect an existing domain. And obviously we're not going to go through the whole process here, but we will go through what we need to. So we got cfninjaresources.com, and we're going to click on continue. And we're going to say we want to add domain. You found it at GoDaddy. And we're going to turn this part off here right now. So we're going to turn that off, and we're going to say we want to start our domain setup. And let's see if it works here today. Sometimes this thing is working most of the time now, but it's still a little glitchy, I found the other day. Okay, so we're going to authorize this with Cloudflare. And let's see what it says it's going to do. So it's going to take our CNAME of hub, and it's going to point it here at ClickFunnels 2.0. And then it's going to create a text record, which is actually our verification record. So this is the most important one of the bunch. For starters here, we need to verify we actually have the ability to use this domain. And then we're going to, let me see, the records added will replace the following. Nope, we do not want that to happen. We do not want that to happen. So we are just going to click on cancel. So now we're going to have to cross our fingers, and let's see if I can get this to work. So now what we need to do is we're going to come up here, we're going to click here, and we're going to turn this thing on. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this verification code right there, and we're going to come over here, and we're going to take out what we just did, and we're going to make this into a text record. And we're going to drop in that verification code, and then we are also going to make that an @ So we're going to do that. So what we're doing at this point here is we are verifying this domain. So we're going to save this record now. And now we are going to come back over here. We're going to validate our ownership. Okay, so ownership has now been verified. So we're going to show our DNS table. Now we're going to come in here and we're going to say we want to point our hub to ClickFunnels. So we're going to come in here. We're going to add a record. This is what we started doing earlier. We're going to come in here. We're going to say hub. We're going to point that at ClickFunnels, and we're going to turn off the proxy, and we're going to click on save. Now we'll come back in here one more time. And what's the other thing we have is we have our DKIM record right here. So let's just do this while we're at it. We'll copy that. And the last time I did DKIM record in here, it actually turned on in like almost instantaneously. So let me see here. That needs to be a text record. I couldn't remember what it needed to be. So we'll put in our text record. We'll paste that down there. And then we will grab this right here, pop that in there, and we'll click on save. And now let's come back and we will check our connection. And now it's adding the SSL to our domain. So right there, I took an existing domain that was pointing at ClickFunnels. It could be pointing at WordPress, as I said, and I've just added another subdomain to it that we can then use in ClickFunnels 2.0. So
I think what we learned is that as of now, it looks like you have to do it manually. You have to set up the DNS records manually. Otherwise, it's going to try to remove that record of your root domain pointing to wherever you need it to stay pointing to.
Right. So it wanted to remove this one right here. So, I mean, worst case scenario, it takes it out. You go and you type it back in. So I could have let that just run through, and then I would have had to put that one back in. So what we have here now is it's saying if somebody clicks in or if anybody puts in the W along with that page rule, if somebody types in www.cfninja resources, it's going to go to the ClickFunnels 1.0 version of this. Mm-hmm. If somebody types in hub.cfninja resources, it will go to the 2.0 version of this. And, you know, it may still take a little bit for this to get completely set up. Like we were saying before, I mean, the shortest period of time I've heard is 20 minutes that it took to get it set up. But let's go over here to, was the wrong one, marketing.
We do have a quick question, though, Dan, coming in. Mm-hmm. It was from back when you were showing the page rules. There's saying, doesn't the page rule in Cloudflare need to have the proxy turned on in order for it to work? And I don't know, there isn't a proxy on page rules, is there?
No, there's no proxy on the page rules, but I'm assuming that they mean the proxy on the DNS. On
the DNS, right.
Here's the thing that I found is in 1.0, when you put in the domain, whether you put it in just as a root domain or as a subdomain, when you put that in, there's a little box below it that says, is this domain registered at Cloudflare? Mm-hmm. Which in most cases, it's not registered at Cloudflare. So what I found is if you don't check that box, then you should turn on the proxy. If you do check the box, you turn off the proxy. And the reason why is the verbiage they have on the page is actually wrong. Mm-hmm. What it should say is this domain run through Cloudflare, not is it registered at Cloudflare? And I had that confirmed to me by Greg Dakins because I'm like going, dude, that's wrong. And he goes, yeah, I know, and they won't fix it. So,
but again, as a general rule of thumb with 1.0, we check that box and we turn proxy off.
Yes. If you check the box, turn the proxy off. If you don't check the box, leave the proxy on.
Cool.
And that may not even be necessarily true anymore either, in that it may not matter if you turn it on or off. I mean, because I've seen evidence that may be true at this point here, whether you have it on or you have it off, whether you check the box, whether you don't check the box, it's going to work just fine no matter what.
And with 2.0, since we don't have that process at all, is it assumed that it's checked on then? And so we turn proxy off?
Yeah, you always want to turn the proxy off for 2.0.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah. And what I also noticed here is, so I came in here and the DKIM key, which used to take months to get turned on, it's already turned on here for this root domain.
That's great.
That domain right there. And so if we come back into our domains, where do we got to go here?
Which again is really, really encouraging from a email deliverability standpoint, right? Because little known fact, I've said it a lot on the show, but the number one thing that actually allows you to have good email deliverability is the domain health, is your domain health that you're emailing from. So, and things like DKIM and SPF and things like this, right, are all connected to that domain health and talking about what that domain is. So,
okay, and so you see here now we actually have all three check marks, and it's working on putting in the SSL. So, so again, this kind of shows us that the that the domains are working much, much better than they had been for sure. So then the next question is, if you guys want me to move on, is how can I get a funnel? All right, sorry, let's start over here. How can I get a root domain to forward to a funnel? That was the thing. I don't want to be using one of my domains inside of ClickFunnels necessarily. I just want to be able to have a domain that goes and points directly at a funnel. Okay. So how we're going to do that.
Hold on, Dan. I just want to kind of clarify, because I don't think it matters if you have it in ClickFunnels or not. You're going to have to get some sort of redirect happening. Because even if you do have it in ClickFunnels 2.0 right now, it's not actually going to your funnel. So either way, you're going to have to do what you're about to do, I think.
Yeah. In fact, let me cut my screen share for a minute because.
Oh, here, I'll just take it down. You don't need to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks like we lost Andrea. Because I need to find a domain, because what I was thinking I was going to do is not going to work quite the way I want to do.
While you're doing that, I'll show my screen and show what I'm talking about to everybody, so we're all on the same page of the issue that I know someone else in the group has asked about. So right now we have our geekoutacademy.com domain connected to ClickFunnels 2.0, and I'm just going to get my screen to the right spot and show you guys. Okay, so here's our 2.0 account. We have geekoutacademy.com in here. It's connected. It's all set up. The CF 2.0 geekout.com is the one that is connected to our site and our funnel hub. But Geek Out Academy is the one we want people to be able to use to get to a funnel. So if we go look at the site real quick, you can see up here, it's CF 2.0 geekout.com. That is what I have set as our funnel hub domain. In my funnel, if we come over here, let me just do that. We come to the funnel settings, and you can see I have geekoutacademy.com set as the domain on this funnel. But if we go to geekoutacademy.com, let me open a new tab. Geekoutacademy.com. It's going to our funnel hub, not the funnel. Now, this is a known thing that this ClickFunnels team knows about. It's high priority. They're working on a way to make this not happen. But in the meantime, we need to set up some sort of redirect on geekoutacademy.com so that it will point to instead geekoutacademy.com/join, because we really want it to be landing on this page instead. Okay. All right. I'll turn it back over to you, Dan.
Okay. All right. I will. Okay. So you just turned my screen back on.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So what we're going to do here. So I got this domain right here, funnelcodesecrets.com. It's currently not in Cloudflare. Even though I had it in Cloudflare, I just deleted it out so I can show you the process, or at least part of it. But I already have it set up so that GoDaddy is already pointing to Cloudflare for this. So we're going to add our site back in here again. It had a bunch of other records from something else I was playing around with, so that's why I deleted it out, just not to be confusing at all. So let's see what it pulls in for records. And all right, pulled in a bunch of stuff I didn't need, so which is pretty much what I had before. So what we have here is we have the www pointing at the root domain, and then we got the root domain pointing at ClickFunnels. So I must have had this set up in ClickFunnels at one point. But what we want to do is we want to have the root domain just point directly at a funnel in 2.0. So we're going to come into 2.0 here. We're going to go over to a funnel, and let me go into a different workspace and just find some old funnel. Doesn't matter where it's heading to. We'll go here to funnels. And let's go here to test new funnel. And so where we want this thing to end up is wherever this ends up, which is going to be this blue, blue, blue right here, which is not cool. So let's change that to, I forget now if it's a page setting or the site settings. Let's see here. That appears to be the name. Can we change this? Maybe not. Let me see here. This is always kind of confusing because there's here we go. There's so many different places we can do this. So let's just say here, we're going to call this our test funnel is our page name, and we will copy this out and we will paste it there and we'll update the step. Okay, so now when we go to this page, where are we going to end up? Let's just see, make sure we're there. Hopefully you guys can't hear my cat crying in the background. Never fails, never fails. That's, okay, so it's not wanting to open that up. Let's see if we can get here. Okay, so this is where we want it to go. So we're just going to pop off the part of this we need, because we don't need the preview part, obviously. And this is not on a domain of any sort at this point. So what I would probably want to do is, in this case here, we would want to take this domain we're setting up. We would want to connect it to 2.0 and give it the triple W subdomain. Okay, so it'd be www.funnelcodesecrets.com would be what we would connect to 2.0. And then what we're going to do is the root domain itself, what we want to do there is I didn't want to delete that. I want to edit it. We want to point that at this domain right here, and hopefully this will work. Where did I just go to? Let's go back here. I see. There was something messed up there. So
does it let you do it? It looked like there was an error at the bottom.
Well, there might have been, and I'm drawing a blank now. Okay, so that's doing that. So we're going to need to do. Let's just delete this, because again here we would have the triple W pointing. Let me think here. So we'd have the triple W pointing at 2.0, just like we did with the last one. We had hub pointing at 2.0. So in this case here, we would have the triple W pointing at 2.0, but we're going to set up a page rule that says that we want just the root domain. So let me see if we can get this done right. We want the root domain pointing at this right here. I don't think this is going to work either. Like I said, I was working on this the other day, and I kept running into a snag. Okay, so funnelcodesecrets.com should redirect to that test funnel. So let us test this. Let's go into an incognito window. And if this doesn't work, I am going to definitely have some better training on this at some point.
Yeah, might have to figure out.
As soon as I have a better chance to really work on it. So, well, why don't we just forget about this now, because I'm going to end up going down a rat hole. So what I'm going to do is sometime in the next week or so, I'm going to shoot some training on this, and I'll drop it into both of the groups for people to see once I get it straightened out, because like I said, I know I'm not going to get it right now. But as long as we're in here, we're going to throw one more thing, because somebody did have a question the other day saying that they could not get the Flex containers to work right. So let's just see here what we can do. So we got a Flex container. I just dropped in a Flex container there very quickly, and we're going to put a little bit of a border around it, and we're going to give it a little bit of a background just so we can see this outer Flex container. Now, inside the Flex container, we're going to add 3 more Flex containers. So we're going to come down here. What we want to end up doing is making 3 columns all the way across. And you're going to see here when this went in, it was really small. And we don't want that, because because they put in a new property into here, which is good. They should have. It was missing originally, but they have it preset to wrap. Mm-hmm. And what we want to preset to is no wrap. And so, wait a second here. that should have made it go.
Do you need it on that outer flex to have no wrap as well?
Well, let's try that. Maybe that's where I needed it. Yeah, that's where I needed it, not on the inner. I needed it on the outer. Well, and I needed it on both.
Okay.
Okay, so we needed it on both. And then we're going to, before we do that, I want to make the background on this. We're going to give it a little bit of a border, and we're going to give it a white background. Okay, good. Now we're going to clone this thing twice. Now, because of that, we have now 3 columns side by side across the page here. And so what we did is we created an outer flex container, then we created 3 flex containers inside, and we turned off the wrap. Now, that's probably where the person in the group was experiencing the problem, is they did not turn it to no wrap. Now, if we come in here and we put in a bunch of items, let's just see what we come up with. So now I got 5 items in here, and you're saying, okay, well, they're all lining up side by side. We don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to say we want to change the flex direction to our row like that. And in fact, let me go up here. What do we have for flex direction? That should be fine. Oops, turn that back off. Okay, so now let's go into the second container here, and we're going to put in a different amount of content. And then we're going to come in here, do the same thing. We're going to change the flex direction. And you see it's down here in the middle, which that's fine. Let us change that to the top. See, that's where we're running into a problem. And let me see here. There we go. Justify at top. And then this one here, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're just going to put in a headline and a paragraph element. And then we will again do this. And then we will justify it to the top. So there it is. It's working the way we had it working the other day, because the whole idea here is we want all 3 of these columns to be the same height. Because if we don't have that, if we don't have this alignment set to stretch, then it's going to make them all different heights. And in 1.0, what you got to do, well, I would use Flex in order to fix it, because I know some CSS, but most other people are putting in, all kinds of returns, or they're putting in, what's one element? Divider element. They're putting that in there and making it invisible and really tall, just trying to line up these columns. Well, you don't need to do that anymore when you have Flex, and you can just turn on the stretch, is what this is. And stretch is the default. So generally speaking, it will come in and just do it on its own. But so probably, again, whoever had the question, I don't recall, probably where they were running into the problem is they had this on wrap, and that's why it was not working, and probably had it on wrap in both. Well, see, now that doesn't seem to change it. But either way, we made plenty of other changes. The point is it does still work.
Yeah.
And it works fine.
It's a good tool.
Yeah, you just got to click around enough until you figure it out. And then this up here, the upper part here, in case, here is the one thing. I will just say this, and I have to do some more experimenting to see if it's a problem or not. But there is one of the flex properties that is missing. And let me see here. Let's save this, and then let's preview this page so I can figure out which one of those flex properties it is. So we will inspect this. We will come up, and we will look at this flex right there, and we'll come down to the code. So it is, what did we have here? So we had justification and align items. So that would be align items and justify content. So the align content property is not showing. But as we click on this and we change it doesn't seem to change. It doesn't seem to affect anything.
Can you go back to the ClickFunnels?
So if we go to the outer, if we go to the outer here, oops, no, we got to go to the inner one here. So you have your flex child up here, and you have align self, but then you come down here and you have align items. If you see here, it's all the same icons. They're just rotated. Okay, and the reason why they rotate is because we're changing the text direction or the flex direction.
Right.
Okay, so they rotate when you do that, but it's not the same icons if we go in here and look at what the align content icons are.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I haven't played around with it enough to see if this is something that will cause problems if it's not there. Because if I can build out what we got on the screen right here, I mean, we should be able to build anything. So I don't know if this is necessary or not.
Well, I'm thinking, like, if for the aligned content, if you were to choose the one where it was like stuck to the bottom and stuck to the top, the icon where it was like split apart like that, then your text on that third column is going to be all the way to the bottom and your headline is going to be all the way to the top. And I don't know when you would use that, but I'm thinking that's what it would be doing if it was actually working.
Let me go to this one here. And so we're in the third column over here is where we are. And when you click on this and you turn that blue, you can see it gives you all the diagonal lines and stuff right there. Yeah. So we can, so now let's open this up and let's just, so now it's preset to align content to.
Oh, now we're sideways. Yeah. So before, when you were in the outer flex container, those icons were all flipped 90 degrees.
Right.
So now
because
I'm not
in
sure
that case, in the outer container, our flex direction is this way, whereas on the inner containers, the flex direction is this way.
Yeah. The other way made more sense to me, though, for this column. I don't know what, like, I don't understand what those would be doing within the column.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure if it's even necessary. But if we do our justify content, so we're clicking on all these, it's not changing anything there. We can align our content left or right. That's not doing anything.
Oh, you're in the first column. It did it in the first column. Click those again. I don't know why, but it was changing your stuff in the first.
Okay. Oh, okay, because I'm down here. Yeah, because it's just generic flex container is what I'm in down here. Okay, so it's not giving it to me on the specific element. Oh, here we go. Flex direction of column. No, okay. So as I was doing this, it was changing the first column.
The align items, I think, is the one that was actually,
Okay, so that would make sense based upon the icon here. It's moving it from the center to the left to the right.
And the other ones aren't moving because they're already filling up the entire width.
They're already full width elements in there. Yeah, so
interesting though that
I'm in the wrong one.
We thought we were on the third and it was changing in the first. But also, like, the other ones aren't doing, so we still don't know what the align content is for.
Yeah, you see here as I hover over these, if I hover on this one, it's full width in the column, whereas these are centered in there and are not full width, or not what they would call a block level element. They're an inline level element at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, even though it does say display block, it's still not taking up the full width, which is fine. But that was it. So I just wanted to show that because it does still seem to be working exactly how it was before. You just got to pay attention to that wrap thing that they put in there and turn that to no wrap, and then it should work just fine.
Cool. All right. I think we covered all the things that were on our mind. Let me just check, make sure there's no...
Yeah, so we got everything on my list. I will work on shooting some content this coming week on specifically how to get a root domain to point to a funnel. So you don't have to be running it. Well, as you were saying, is if you put a domain in period, the subdomain, at least portion of it, will always point to the hub. But that doesn't mean we can't use a different subdomain, or we couldn't use the root domain to point to a funnel. It's just a matter of me getting exactly right how to do it.
Right. Yeah. So looking forward to that. because I think there's a lot of us that need it. Pretty much everyone who has a funnel that are trying to point a domain to it right now needs this. So, and yeah, maybe we can get some answers from someone official too of what's the proper way we're supposed to be doing this right now. But I know Dan will figure it out.
Well, the thing is, I just got to go in there and set up a couple of different domains, because what I did is, because all my domains were broken around Christmas time, I just went in there and deleted out all my domains and deleted out all the DKIMs and said, okay, I'm just going to start all over again. So right now I just need to spend a little time setting up some domains and getting them to work. And in fact, we can go back in here and check to see if that domain ended up getting set up or not. We've been talking for probably 20 minutes or so. Mm-hmm. And so let me find the right, was that in here? I think we were setting that up.
I was chatting in the comments with Chris Cole. Sorry if I'm not saying your last name right. But he also has a problem with his domain, the subdomain, the www, the non-subdomain version of his domain. It's going to the ClickFunnels homepage, and it did verify that he's also bringing his over from ClickFunnels 1.0. So that seems to be the common denominator of that issue. If you're moving a domain over from 1.0, you're probably going to run into the problem of the non-www version of it not working, not going to where it should be, but with the www or with whatever subdomain you're using, it will go to your funnel hub, or I guess right now your funnel hub. So if you're running into that issue, definitely contact support. I had a client that was dealing with this issue back in, I don't know, it took a few months for us to get it worked out, but I think it was immediately, like in October, we ran into this issue, and support was able to work it out and get it all working for him. But it doesn't seem to have a fix for everybody yet into the system, because we're all still dealing with the problem.
So share my screen real quick.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Ta-da.
It's connected.
So in the time we did this now, this domain got fully connected. And I wasn't even planning on doing that when I started this, to connect that domain. And don't worry about that showing up wrong on there. That doesn't matter. That it's red because
it was green before.
Yeah. So I guess what we could do here is let's just go here and see if this thing is fully working.
Yeah.
As the cat slowly creeps over to me. Yeah, here we go. So took me to the homepage right there. So now I guess the question is, let's just do this. Do I have any funnels set up in here? I don't know as though I do. Let me create a funnel here real quick. New funnel, good name for it. I mean, as long as we're still on here. So we go to settings, and I can select a domain. Let's see if this works. And let's add.
Well, you would want to choose your other domain, right? The one you just set up.
Yeah, I think I did, didn't I?
No, it was small, but I don't think that you did.
Okay, I'll go back there then.
Yeah, check your settings again.
We'll go call this test. We'll create the page. Got the test settings. Yeah, okay. Wrong hub one. Okay, so update the funnel. Then let's just go in here. Let's look at page settings. What is this all going to tell me? Not much. Let's go to step settings. Okay, we got the right hub there. Okay, let's do this. Let's edit the page. Okay, let's go to the eyeball. And so there we go.
/test works.
Yeah. So what Jimmy was saying is, no matter what, if you go to the subdomain without a path, it's going to bring you to the funnel hub.
Yeah, that's what I'm experiencing right now.
That would make sense, because it's not going to know what the page was otherwise. So in this case,
right, but there needs to be a place for us to assign, like in ClickFunnels 1.0, we can say like, hey, this is the default page that I want this domain to be going to.
Okay.
We just don't have that ability yet.
Well, I'm wondering here then, let's go in here. Okay, come on. So this is one I just set up here, right? So we had
No,
Right.
you're in your resources one.
Oh,
Your
Ninja Resources.
CF Ninja Resources.
Okay, take my screen down for a second.
Sure, 1 second. You gotta get to where I can do that. Okay, you're down.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Turn it back on. So here we got hub pointing there. And then if we go into the page rules, then let's say, let's do this asterisk hub do and no, let me see here. Yeah, if somebody just puts in the root, we want them going to test. Maybe this is, so we got the root with the asterisk in front of it, going to test. All right, let's see what we get here.
It's still a funnel hub.
Okay. Hub.cf Ninja. Hub.cf.
Hey guys, if you're just joining us, we're trying to figure out the right way to redirect your domain to a funnel. So you can get your ClickFunnels domain to actually go to the funnel instead of the funnel hub.
Yeah. All right. Well, then let's just forget this for now. Like I said, I'll work on that this week. And then when I figure it out, because I've done it before and I've just drawn a blank on how to do it now. So let's get that. We'll get that done this week and then we'll go from there.
Awesome. Okay, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us today. Have an awesome weekend. We will be back next week on Thursday. I believe we're still going to do our Geek Camp into the group. And I don't know, I forgot, we really need to update our events page, but we are going to be doing some sort of topic next week on Geek Camp, and we'll let everybody know once we've settled on that. And then, of course, Friday. So thanks for hanging out with us. Let us know if you have questions. Come to the CF 2.0 GeekOut group and post your questions, and we'll make sure that if we can answer them, we'll try to answer them for you. So thanks, Dan, for joining us today as well and sharing your wisdom. All right, everybody, have a great weekend.
See you later.